All right, Bertie. It is episode 108.
Yes, 108.
108. And this week we're deciding to do something a little bit different.
Well, it's a bit of a celebration about season 2 because we're in season 3 now and we feel like we want to put out our best episode, a little throwback for all our new listeners who might not yet have gone back through season 2.
Yeah, we did this in season 2 as well. We did a throwback to season 1.
Yeah.
So every so often we'll throw a little throwback in.
Just to refresh what's going on, just so the new listeners know what we're all about.
And what episode are we going back to today?
We are going back to the greatest Mickey of our generation.
Yeah, we talked to Mickey Burke all about his sporting endeavours. The fact that we went to school with him.
Exactly.
That's our claim to fame. We
Definitely.
knew Mickey Burke.
We know Mickey Burke. No matter where you go in Ireland and you're talking about football, you're like, oh, do you know Mickey Burke? Yeah, well, I went to school with him and I live right beside him.
Yeah, I used to sit beside him in English.
Exactly. And he was fantastic on the pod, spoke so well about so many different things, and a perfect example of an entrepreneur too.
Yeah,
pub owner and coffee shop runner as well.
I really enjoyed getting to catch up with Mickey because I haven't talked to him since school.
Yeah.
And to see how far someone has come since school, how eloquent he was and how he speak about stuff and knowledgeable and
well,
stuff.
it wasn't his first rodeo, as he said, but he definitely done a great episode for us. It was great to chat to him.
Yeah, it was deadly. Obviously we did our news, we did our waffle game, and we did our shell bombs as well.
Yeah, and if you did listen to this episode the first time round, you'll get to win the waffle game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so Bertie, we don't really have to name it, but I'll let you name it as always.
Yes.
So this is episode number 108.
The greatest Mickey of our generation. Again.
Enjoy.
Yeah, waffle me this, waffle me that. Thinking of the topics that you could have had. The only game that makes me feel so alive. I'm guessing for 30, it can be on the line. Getting them all would be a superpower. You could get it every week on the JB Waffle Hour. JB Waffle Hour.
I love that song.
JB Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JB Waffle Hour.
How was your weekend?
JB Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JB Waffle Hour.
I love that song.
JB Waffle Hour.
How was your weekend?
I love this song.
I love that song too.
It seems to get longer every week.
It does
That's
seem
what
longer.
she said. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
We can edit that out.
Straight
It's
in
fine.
there.
No.
Do we start again?
No, just keep on going.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Bertie.
It's episode 74. I think because I printed out the wrong sheet.
It is episode 74, yeah. It is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
last week was episode 73,
Mhm.
A Tribe Like Us, where Scotty lured us in to talk about the Irish football team from the 90s and 94 World Cups, and turned out that's not what we talked
Yes.
about at all.
Yes.
It was a lot more of an intellectual conversation.
Yeah.
It was deep. It was deep.
So my
Was-
waffle game made no sense.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's also, as always, make sure to rate, like, share, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff that you might see our podcast in places.
Why should people do that, Bertie?
It's algorithm and it's maths and it's putting us out there and
No, well, what will happen if,
interactions.
say, if people don't do that?
Well, you have to ask
and-
me that in ages.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Mhm.
Say a year down the line and still no one is commenting on our beautiful Instagram page.
We would be very sad because we like doing it, and all these interactions will keep us going and keep the morale high as well.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll just keep on doing it.
We'll keep on doing it probably regardless because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Don't say that. That gives them no incentive.
Yes. No, we will give this up if you don't.
But if anybody does want to sponsor the podcast, feel free to DM us.
Yeah, yeah.
Slide
we
it-
missed
slide right
we
in
missed
there.
a DM from Coca-Cola last week.
Oh yeah.
It's too late to write back.
From who?
Yeah.
Coca-Cola wanted to sponsor us.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You only had like a window, 3 seconds to reply.
Definitely not true.
Well, he said cocaine or something. I don't know. Something to do with Coca-Cola.
John has the intro ready.
I'm doing the intro tonight.
Yeah, he has been practicing on the way over.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
Right.
we have a very special guest tonight.
Okay.
I have it written here.
Oh my God, he wrote it
Oh.
down. This is special.
The legendary senior Meath hurler, senior Meath footballer, Guinness keg lifting Longwood publican, coffee shop entrepreneur, the best Mickey of our generation,
I love that.
now guest on the JB Waffle Hour,
Oh, that's even better.
Micheál de Burca, Mickey Burke. Welcome to the JB Waffle Hour.
Thanks a million, John. Thanks for that
Good to
intro.
have you
Thanks,
here.
lads.
Boy, Mickey.
Great to be here.
Oh, cheers. It's great to have you.
Mickey, I'll start off with you. How was your weekend, man?
It was good. It was good, Scotty. Not a bother. I was out with the hurlers yesterday, so we got promoted in the hurling league for Meath, which was great. Aside from that, like nothing major to write home on. Bit of work, bit of training, boring enough life, really.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
No.
Thank you for the intro, by the way, John.
It's no problem.
Michael Buffer job
I'll
there.
text it to you
I
later.
appreciate that. Yeah. I'll give you the brown envelope later, mate.
So Meath are up into what division are you in now in the hurling?
2A in the hurling.
2A.
So we were in quite a low division, to be honest. We would have been hoping to get out of that. So it was important for hurling, I suppose, to develop in the county to get up.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I suppose, a case of job done, really. It won't be making the highlights now in the Sunday game or RT or anything, but it was important to get up.
Yeah. We're not traditionally a hurling county anyway, really. We're a football county.
We are a football county, yeah. Definitely the sport is with the footballers, but there's a pocket in Meath, bit like North Kerry, where hurling is very popular, like South Meath, like where we're from, really. Trim, Kildalkey, Boardsmill, Longwood, Rathmolline, those areas, Killeen, Kiltale, that's where the hurling would be in Meath. But when you go beyond Trim into Navan, Kells, that direction, they wouldn't know what a hurl is up that part of the world.
Yeah. Just use it for tanning someone's arse.
Yeah.
That's it, or baiting cattle.
Baiting lads.
I like it. You bait your sheep with a hurl, yeah.
No.
Would you play a bit of hurling?
Yeah, casually.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been great now.
No.
Junior hurler.
It's a tough old sport.
Still don't.
That's a
But
man's sport, hurling.
I get very defensive though when I say I'm from Meath
Right.
and say about hurling, and people say, "Oh, you don't play hurling there." For some strange reason,
yeah.
I think it's as you said, because you're down in the pocket. Like all cousins, father, uncles now play hurling, like for Boardsmill. So I always get a bit defensive when they say there's no hurling in Meath.
Dundree's a good hurling town, is it as well? There's
It is,
a bit of
yeah.
hurling there in Dundree.
It is, yeah. Again, it's kind of in that, I suppose if you drew a circle around Trim maybe for 10 miles, you kind of you collect a lot of the hurling clubs there. So yeah, Dundree would be a big hurling area as well.
And do you know what made it so popular in this area in the first place? Was it just one of those things the kids just played it in school or something, or why is it in that area in particular?
That'd be interesting now. I don't know if, I know Longwood had a cricket team years and years ago. I don't know if that has any origins to it. But like Raharney and Westmead would be a neighbouring parish of Killeen, and they'd be a really, really good hurling club, Raharney there in Westmead. So kind of along that Delvin there beside that Boy as well would be a hurling area. So it's just it's mad the way it's kind of geographically in different areas of the country.
Yeah. But did you play hurling for Meath the same time as you're playing football for Meath, or was that after?
No, I would have combined both of them as best I could for a long time. People would have been questioning me really why I was doing it, again, because we're kind of from a football area, I suppose, or a football county, but I liked both, and physically I was able to do both, thankfully, and the two managers kind of cooperated fairly well and let me at it, I suppose.
That was always the way in school, though, wasn't it? Like generally everyone who played football would go and play hurling as well.
Yeah.
In secondary school, did you play football and hurling in secondary school as well?
Oh god, yeah, definitely in the school, yeah, 100%, and even like under 16 and under 18 there with Meath, and I'd just be a big advocate of playing any sport or whatever sport you want to play as a kid. Yeah. It doesn't have to be football or hurling.
Do you think you would have went and found hurling or football if Longwood was only hurling or football?
Like would I've moved to another club, or
say like in Ballivor the way the lads would play with Kildalkey or Killeen, because Ballivor's just football. So if Longwood was just football, would you have went somewhere else, or?
Hard to know, but I'm sure I probably would have. Like I would have tried to play both, or like I never really played any other sports. I played soccer, rugby, no, but I love rugby. Like I watch rugby until I watch all sports till it comes out my ears, really, and same for kids. Like I'd be encouraging them to play as many sports as I could, not just focusing on one sport when I'm 12 and saying, right, I want to be a boxer, I want to be a rugby player. Just play as much as you can up to the age of 17. There's loads of sports, I suppose, evidence-based things to encourage kids to play up to 17 or 18, and then maybe focus on one sport.
Yeah, I suppose you can take stuff from one sport and bring it into another. It'll help you develop in other areas of your sport. Give you a little bit of originality, I suppose, in the likes of, say, if you're playing soccer, you're playing hurling, you can bring stuff from hurling into soccer. Not the stick, obviously, but other parts of like the physicality of hurling. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
It was interesting because we were listening to that chap a few podcasts ago that was the American football, and he was saying that you're kind of work your way all the way up to like 20 years old, and then that's it. You can't really play anything else because
Oh, Kingsley.
you grow out of it or something.
There's a
like,
gap. Isn't there a gap in the States where they just kind of let you go?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you're not good enough. That's it. You just tip off.
Yeah, because
But
there's no like clubs like.
Yeah,
Well, you probably know anyway, Mick, but the way Borsmill and Longwood have like you can play. It's not like so in America. It's what it was at high school, college, and then you go to the NFL or you just stop playing.
yeah.
There's no
nowhere
like
for
local team that you can go play a bit of American football. Like it's mad.
Yeah, you're either what's the word? Yeah, you're either like not drafted. What's the thing where you scholarship? You either get a
Oh,
scholarship
yes,
or
college,
you
yeah.
or you don't do anything. You just
Yeah.
head into a job.
Is that the same with music? Like for kids, would you encourage kids to play different instruments?
Oh, God,
yeah.
Yeah, develop all like once you know, like music theory spans every instrument. So like once you know how to speak the language in one instrument, you can generally bring it across to other instruments as well. So I suppose like the physicality of sport would be the same as well. You learn fundamentals of football. You can bring those fundamentals into soccer or whatever, cricket, swimming. No.
I know. I mean, there's definitely discipline in every sport about training and nutrition and stuff, and that's across all sports. Then the actual like coordination and stuff is important too because you learn a little bit from everything as well. I suppose I don't know. Maybe if you went and played rugby or even the AFL, it'd probably take a little bit of time to adjust back. I suppose you can't slot straight into it because it's a different style of kicking maybe.
Yeah.
But that'd be the only thing.
Of course, people that never played sport, they were okay as well. You know, like people that never played sport ever in their life.
Yeah, the musicians.
Yeah, musician guys of us.
I played sports all the way through school. I still play sport.
It's a great soccer player.
Sportier than you are.
Yeah, but you won't come play the over 35s.
I know because I haven't.
Have you been recruited for the over 35s yet?
Scotty was a good soccer player from what I remember. Decent.
He's
I
like a
think so,
gazelle.
yeah.
A gazelle.
Gazelle.
Very
I used to
small
keep on looking
gazelle.
at you. I kept on looking at you going, "Fucking gazelle." You literally, the ball was sellotaped to your left foot.
Oh, we were playing football at the five-a-side.
Yeah, the five side, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not bad at football now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right now.
yeah. The body doesn't like it anymore, though.
Yeah.
I did the over 35s in Athboy,
Oh, yeah.
and both of my Achilles did both of them at the same time, and I'm still recovering from. That was January. Still recovering. Horrible. But the coaching's great. Once you get to that age, and that's something. Would you go into the coaching? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, possibly. It's definitely something that I'd be interested in. I would have done a little bit with the young lads in Longwood there over the years. I'm studying. God, we're talking about school. I never did a TAPA study in my life, but I'm studying nutrition online now. So
Nice.
I'm hoping to finish that and maybe kind of break into that line of with teams. Do you know what I mean? Get involved as regards. I have a huge passion for food and nutrition and performance nutrition. So that would be definitely an area that I would like to go down if that opportunity arises.
It's such a big thing now. Like every county team and even club teams now are getting like nutritionists and even the sports psychology side of things and everything. So there is a market for that there as well. Like,
oh, it's brilliant. It's very, I suppose, underutilized. You know, some people kind of love it or really embrace it, and others are slow to have an interest in it. But there's no doubt that fueling correctly will enhance your performance, you know, and help you recover. So,
yeah.
Before you, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say about Arsene Wenger. He brought that to Arsenal about the nutrition and that, and all the English players that was there before he came, and they realised how important it was. I think it was Patrick Vieira was eating like 3,000 or 4,000 calories the day of a game, and they're wondering like, why are you doing that? But then you see Vieira and he go and box the rocks, and then they suddenly clicked with him. Oh, you know, that's it. Like, you know,
Makes a huge difference.
Oh,
Did you notice? Like, was there a point in your career that nutrition became super important, or was it always from the very, very start when you started playing with Meath? Was it was just straight away they were like, you need to change that diet, stop eating those burgers and eat chicken fillets, and you know?
No, I've thought about this before. Like, I suppose my mother was a primary school teacher, so healthy eating and food was always, you know, part of you know, the family at home. And looking at it now, I probably was a bit obsessive about the whole thing. Even in secondary school, thinking back of it, I used to bring in a lunchbox of fruit into school in 6th year. But no one, like, there was no social media and no one was telling me to do this. No one said, look, fruit is I can't remember reading up about it, but I probably had a knowledge that maybe fruit was better than eating a breakfast roll every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Type of
Which
thing.
a lot of lads done.
Do you know?
Yeah. I was one of them for sure.
I enjoyed a breakfast roll or two now, boys. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. So healthy eating was always, and I think that's one thing that's kept me actually playing for so long, and it has been minding it from, you know, the way some lads get to 30 or 31 and they go, geez, I have to start eating broccoli now and spinach and you know, drinking water.
Yeah.
You know, but I suppose I was doing that since school. But again, no one actively came and told me about that. Like even nutritionists weren't big back then. Like that's 02, 03 type of thing. So yeah.
And do you think that was part of why? Because when you were in school, you were one of the, like, to be honest, one of the main lads when it came to sport in our school. If we were playing a game of football or soccer, you were always there putting the ball over the bar or putting the ball in the net. You were hard to fucking catch, and you were a big buck as well. You were streaks ahead of anyone really when it came to playing sport. I remember that from playing soccer anyway. But do you think that even back then, that because you were eating right and you're obsessive over it, that's what kind of set you apart?
Possibly. Like I was definitely a slow, a late developer. I was not like first, second, third year. I had a bit of puppy fat on me. I was not like, I even think of Robbie Kennedy. He was a machine even back then. Paddy Austin. I met Paddy Austin. Funny enough, he's over and he's a PT now in Johnstown Bridge in Johnstown.
Yeah.
And we had a great old chat. And I could never beat that man in the sprint. We were laughing about it. He was a rocket.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like it was just like almost 5th, 6th year, I kind of lost a bit of that, you know, puppy fat and started becoming a bit more mobile and quicker and but and then I was probably playing so much and playing soccer, I was throwing my hand into everything and probably developed a bit of fitness, a bit of aerobic fitness, and the good food and all those little things helped. And slowly but surely then I was definitely, I don't think at first year people would have been saying, this guy here, he might play for Meath. I don't think so. Not in my mind anyway.
Yeah. Did you think about playing soccer at all professionally, or did you play for a club or anything, or through school? Because I don't remember you playing in school.
Used to play with Aher.
Oh, right.
Aher Park up to about 16.
With Paddy Austin, he was in that team, was he?
Yeah, Paddy Austin, all them boys.
Robert Ryan.
Stephen Mullally used to be there.
That's right, yeah. Flicky.
Flicky, God. The boys, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, all them lads, yeah, back in the day. But we used to have good old battles with Trim Celtic.
Yeah.
Trim Celtic would have been really, really, really good at that time as well. So
Connor Hatton played with you as well, did he?
Richie Hatton played. Willie Milner, Paul. No, hold on now. Paul Rispin was with Trim Celtic.
Oh, he's a trim man, yeah.
Yeah. So that was strange because Aher were Summerhill. So, you know, there would have been a good old battle with Rip.
Yeah.
But no, he was a serious bit of stuff actually.
He was a great player.
Still is a good player.
Yeah.
He was in that over 35s league there a few weeks ago. Couldn't touch him.
Rip was really good at everything, like
I mean,
darts.
Brian was good as well. Like
That's the older brother, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they played with him in Park Celtic. Like
It was Brian. It wasn't Paul who was playing the
okay.
other over 35s.
I think it was
Still couldn't touch him.
Paul would be over 35 as well.
Oh, he would be. He's older than us. He's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
2 years older than us, I think.
Yes,
And Brian is older than that again. Like
Yeah. I remember playing Aher for a boy, and it was always great crack because all the lads were just like the Flicky and Paddy Austin and stuff, having good crack on the pitch when they're playing. Like,
Sure, them boys are as good as gold.
Yeah.
God, great old times in school. Great memories, I must say.
but you never thought about kind of going, okay, well, I think soccer maybe it might be something I'll do professionally. There's good money in it. Would I go that route?
Oh, I don't think I was good enough, Scotty.
Right.
I don't think ultimately I was good enough. No, I wouldn't think so. I think I would have to been playing a little bit more. I would have only started playing from maybe 12 to 16.
Right,
I was actually goalie.
Oh,
Used to play goals or up front because I was quick enough. I wasn't bullish, but kick it over the top and let him run after it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I had. No, soccer was very, very technical. Rory Maguire was a brilliant soccer player. He was up in Dublin a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
You could see the guys that were in Dublin, but no, I wasn't at that level.
And when was it you knew kind of football this is what you wanted to do?
Probably 5th, 6th year in school. I kind of started. I got on the Meath under 18s when I was in Leaving Cert.
Oh, did you?
And that was a big one. That was the minors,
Oh, right.
So no one from Longwood really had made it, I suppose, and that was huge, and that was, playing under 18 with Meath football was a big deal. at the time. So yeah, look, I probably threw my eggs into a lot of baskets. Like I said, schoolwork and college and all those things were put on the back burner probably, and to my mother's disgust, I would think. But like, Mum would have been from, she was a primary school teacher. My brother was a vet. He's a good bit older than me. There's a big age gap in my family. Coleman's 15 years older than me. My sister is 13, so I was the baby by a long shot.
Right.
But yeah, and once I made the under, like any kid, you grow up as a young fella and you have a ball, and well, it was a ball for me. Again, it's different for everyone, music, it was a ball for me, and seeing the Keypack jersey and wanting to play a bit with Meath, and you had that dream. Did I ever think I was going to play football with Meath, being from Longwood? No. But then the under 18s opened up a few doors for me, and maybe you're being watched a little bit more.
Do you think, and not to put you down or anything, but is there any luck involved? Because I do watch, obviously the soccer, and you think of players going to different clubs and managers buy them, and then another manager doesn't come in and they're pure unlucky that they don't fancy them or whatever, and then someone like I always say Arnold was in the right place at the right time with Liverpool when Klein got injured. Now I know he's not obviously playing well now, but I think he was still lucky, because I don't think he would have had that Arnold if Klein never got injured. So do you think maybe when you made the minor team, was it because like Longwood Club was going well and that's how you got in? Did you go to the trial and on that day you just like lit up the place and you got on it, or do you actually just think, look, you just worked your arse off? Like,
yeah, I definitely worked really, really hard, and I'm able to say that now, looking back, and I definitely worked my socks off. But I've no doubt that luck plays a huge part, Bertie, definitely. Like I said, Longwood, so we were Junior B, so we were League One, in soccer terms, the first team in Longwood. So Sean Boylan was the manager, legendary Meath manager at the time, and he was not afraid to look down the divisions, and maybe he saw a bit of a rough time in the young fella there playing, and said we'll give him a chance. So that was the following year. That was in 2004. So I was still 18, but I was coming 19, and he called me into the squad, and that's how it all kind of kicked off then for the seniors. So definitely luck, no doubt.
I think you're right, because some of the other managers, I think that's a complaint a lot of people in Meath had, that Boylan always looked down, because I think Evan Kelly was a junior player, I think, as well.
Loads of lads junior players,
where then there was a time there, who was after that? Was it? There was Eamon O'Brien, and Barry was there, and Colin Kyle. And they might have looked like higher up, and there'd be people maybe that missed their chance then, because you can see now that like you can have quality down that far as long as you're coachable and you're willing to put in the hard work like that as well. Like,
yeah, definitely. Like, and Boylan was famous for that down through the years. He looked down the divisions and he gave lads a chance. So maybe, like I said, he spotted a bit of a diamond in the rough. I don't know, but thankfully he gave me a chance anyway.
And do you think was there ever a point that came, like, because you're obviously still playing now, that you thought like, that's it, you're kind of done, or whether it's injuries or things throughout your career that you think that you mightn't come back from, or are you that mentally strong that any setback that you had, you just kind of powered through? Because I just look at now, I'm still playing now. Obviously I was never as good as you, but I love playing for Boresmill the same way as you play with Longwood. But I look now, I'm the only one left of my age group that is still playing and has been. I know Davey came back when they won the intermediate in the hurling, but apart from that, like, all the lads that I went to school with or my age, they stopped playing years ago. Like,
and I would have noticed you, like, and sure you're gymming away, and I'm sure that's helped you keep playing for as long as you have as well. Like, I don't think you're not human if you don't have doubts and if you don't have insecurities and setbacks. Like, I broke my leg badly in 2010, really, really bad. Did ligaments in my knee.
That was down in O'Connor Park.
That's right.
I was actually fairly close to that.
Yeah, did you hear a cracker on it? Or no, some people said
you were around nearly where the dugouts is in O'Connor Park.
That's right, yeah.
And I was just up behind the dugouts. And I remember, I think he got up and went to run again.
I did, because I could hear my father in the back of my head, and saying, "Get up," because he used to say that to me. Again, we were talking off air, but parents and stuff like that, like Dad would have no time for an injury, and still to this day, like if I came home with a cut in my finger and I'd be like, damn, my finger's hanging off me, he'd be like, they're not a bothering you, what are you talking about?
Like a plaster on it.
So yeah. So I could hear him shouting at me in my mind, and I tried to get up and run, and next thing I just
Jesus.
broke the tibia and fibula. So but coming back from that,
break or a
there's
fracture?
fracture. I've a plate in my leg for life.
Oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
So over the bone. So that took about 10 months to come back.
Yeah.
But again, I wanted to come back, and I was determined to. I didn't know if I was going to come back, but give myself the best opportunity of coming back and playing again.
Just amazing, like the human body that can do that. Like steel plate and go out and still play, do what you're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah. I look, plenty of guys have come back from a broken leg, and I suppose the one you don't want is the Achilles, is a broken leg or a cruciate. So that was the nastiest one I've got.
Well, moving away from sport, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can get back into it. As you know, I'm not much into sport.
That's
so
okay, John. That's no
forgive me.
problem.
I wasn't much
Right.
into
Don't
Star
put
Wars
yourself
either,
down, John.
but I sat here and listened.
You're a long distance runner, are you not?
Only on after a night out at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm on my own heading home. Do you ever get so drunk that you just say, "Feck it, I'll run home"?
Oh yes, absolutely.
And you absolutely sprint.
Yeah, and you regret the crap out
And
of it
the
the next time.
coldness of the air in your ears, you just makes you run faster.
Do you remember we were out? I think it was just after COVID. We were in. It was a time we didn't invite Bertie for pints.
That was the best night
It was
of our lives.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
Constantly leave me out.
I got a lift home. My mother dropped me home actually, and the next morning I got up and I was still absolutely locked. And I decided I was going to run to Trim from that boy.
Yeah.
It's like feck it,
Best
I'll just
decision.
run it.
Yeah.
Halfway there, I regretted the shit of that decision.
I've no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But,
Anyway, sorry, go on.
But I kind of I've always followed you as well, and suppose I've known you since we were young lads as well. But I've kind of been a fan of the Mickey Burke brand that you've had, I suppose.
Yeah.
You kind of have a brand, don't you? Like you're like the Mickey Burke, like because you've been a bit of an entrepreneur throughout the years. Like you've had what would have been your first business? Like you're doing accessories and stuff like that. What was your first? Like what? I suppose. What age did you start going, sure, I can set my own business up? Were you a young lad, and did someone inspire you when you to set up your own businesses? Because you've had a few runs at stuff.
Very first one. Well, we had a farm at home, so I suppose I was always wheeling and dealing in the old Martin Trim.
Yeah.
With my father. Missed a few Fridays in school. Bartering there and seeing the crack with farmers and that type of thing.
Seeing how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of got into, and then the pub. Looking at lads and seeing what they do, but I suppose the gear then was kind of the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
The retro jerseys was the idea in my head.
Yeah.
And looking back on that now, probably I wish I patented that idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of lads doing that now.
It's
isn't it?
huge now.
Yeah, and the GA jerseys.
Were you one of the first lads to do it? Technically.
Yeah, I can't be sure, but I think I was one of the first. I had the Mead jersey in my head to do from the 80s and the 90s,
Yeah.
and it went really well. And then a few other companies started doing it, and rightly so. I wasn't sure how to patent something, to be honest with you.
Course,
Do you know, and you're kind of,
because that's into legal stuff and putting money and stuff.
it's hard to find trustworthy people as well,
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if I go and I tell someone my idea that I don't really know that well, that I'm confiding in, they could just go and tell someone else, and next thing, don't worry about your man. We'll start doing this.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure where to go or what to do. So I just left it with the Mead ones. CJ Murta and Trim was really helpful to me. Actually, he was a great help getting things kicked off. So that's what I did, and the gloves and slitters and. But yeah, the retro jerseys was kind of the idea, and retro was in at the time.
Yeah.
But
Because the soccer ones were always knocking around for ages, the retro soccer ones. But I definitely think you're definitely close to the first one. Anyway, I remember seeing with the GA ones, and now like nearly every kind of company, as you said, like that do gear. I think KC Sports do vintage or retro ones, and
KC,
and then there's a few of them then that have them, of course. But I suppose when you're in the business of doing all the gear and stuff, it's probably easier then to slide over to that.
Yeah. So again, I gloves and slitters are made in Pakistan. So
Right.
the majority of them are. So I had to wire over a couple of grand for gloves, and you don't know who you're sending it to. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's
Whether to
bizarre.
press the enter button or not.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get a new wife arriving at the door. Oh, that's not what I fucking ordered.
So yeah,
Slitters the side of golf balls.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're going to come back. What are they going to be like?
And were you in contact with like
Oh, God,
were
yeah,
you
chat-
getting like these emails back with like badly done English or
WhatsApp?
what's
Yeah,
it?
all done on WhatsApp. Yeah,
No
photos.
way.
Yeah. Gas, amazing. Yeah, so and just sending them photos constantly. No, I don't like this. No, put that there,
Mm.
and that's how it all kicked off. Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
man.
So
Experience,
it's mad.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And
so
did you just Google factories and how did you find one?
Where are slitters made?
no. I made contact with another chap who kind of was in, I suppose, the sports game for a while, doing gloves and socks and all that type of thing, shorts and that. Not O'Neill's, but you know, a lad from down the country. So again, he was very helpful and, you know, again, very kind. Gave me a hand, said, "Look, this chap in Pakistan is trustworthy," and yeah, I get my gear from him. So that was it. That's how that kicked off. But it's hard. It's a hard game to get into, you know. So I'm not pushing it massively as well. You
Sounds
know?
like a lot of work.
Yeah,
so-
it is. Yeah,
Because you have to put in a big capital in order to get stock in, and then you're not guaranteed then stock is going to go for you either.
Mm, mm.
that's it.
Because you don't have like a shop; it's all kind of online or clubs contacting you or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I do a website online. Derek Donoghue actually did
He
my
did your
website.
website,
Yeah, I remember Derek. He was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
year or two above us in school.
Hell of a soccer player.
Unbelievable
Oh,
soccer
jeez,
player.
yeah.
Yeah, his caps with Ireland actually underage. He was telling me when he was doing it. Yeah,
He was phenomenal.
He was
Brilliant.
like phenomenal like at 6.
Injury
He
was the thing
incredible.
that got him, I think, wasn't it?
yeah,
Was it
his
injury?
back. I think he was
Mm.
telling me. But no, he was an absolute gent, and he designed my website. So
Okay.
that's how that kicked off. But yeah,
And what was the plan, to go to clubs and go, look, I can provide your gear for you, you give me an order and I'll fulfill it type of thing, or just kind of advertise to people you knew, or what was the business idea when you first started it?
I wanted to do Gaelic footballs originally. That was because O'Neill's have the monopoly completely.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's actually very hard to get a Gaelic football.
Mm.
But I soon realised that, again, you're getting gear back from Pakistan. The ball could be lopsided. The ball could be warped. The stitching mightn't be good in it.
Mm.
And slitters were more reliable. So I went with the slitters, and the gloves were always good.
Yeah.
They were really, really solid Gaelic football glove. And yeah, so all mine were online. I put some of my retro jerseys into CJ's. CJ, they sold straight away.
Right.
But yeah, I don't, like I said, again, I'd be a big believer in what kind of word of mouth is pretty good,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and a good way of doing it. So I try not to be too OTT on the old social and annoy people about it, like, you know what I mean. So if they want us, they'll see it, you know, that type of thing.
Now, you wait until this podcast comes out, there'll be a new 4 customers for you
yes,
now buying gloves.
at
and
38.
slippers. 38 customers, you'll see.
And then I suppose fast forward on, then COVID happened, and then you couldn't play sport. Pub was closed. You had another idea then.
Yeah, that's right, John. Look, the hamster's always in the wheel. It's
Yeah.
always going. Always going.
That's it.
So, yeah, Scotty and myself run the coffee. It'll
Coulda
be
went
on now
either.
until 1 o'clock tonight again. So, yeah, I went down the coffee shop route, and that was something that was always on my mind and wanted to do. And COVID forced my hand to actually just go ahead and give it
Yeah.
a go. I went over to England and bought a horse box. Went over in the boat and was going to put a horse box in my gateway and on the main street. And then I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I have the front room is what I call the business.
It was literally your front room, wasn't it? Like the house front room.
It's the house front room that
That
wasn't
was amazing.
yeah, it wasn't really used that much. It was kind of like the sitting room, you know, the good sitting room that,
Yeah.
you know.
One at the fireplace in it.
Yeah. That was never
Christmas time,
used. So
yeah.
I said I'd slap out a canopy and I'll put out a hatch here now, and we'll serve out into the main street. And if it doesn't work, I can close the window down and just forget about it.
I think
Yeah.
that ended up probably being better because the horse box thing or trailers or whatever got overplayed, like.
Yeah.
And then there's probably a little bit more safety. Maybe I know it's obviously not mobile, but there's a bit more safety because you actually had the building and everything like that. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And like we're saying there now, I'm already thinking of the summer, and I'm thinking about maybe venues, and maybe the front room can kind of go in the horse box still, and maybe somewhere
still
else.
Have the horse box.
I still have it out in the yard. Yeah.
Oh, you went and got the horse box. Anyway.
Oh no, yeah,
Right.
I got the horse box.
Is
Yeah,
it kitted out and everything?
Yeah,
Ready to
kitted
go?
out. Yeah,
Wow.
kitted out. Went to Telford in England. Went over in the boat. A horrendous day. Jesus, the boat, lads. By God, went over in the boat and got over and came back in the same day wrecked. But I just no, whatever. I went on my gut and I said, no, this horse box, no, we'll put out a canopy. So if it's raining, people can stand underneath it and order their coffee in comfort. And I was very keen to get a really good cup of coffee and a few homemade cakes, and hopefully people will come back with that.
You had a passion for coffee before you even set it up, or did you kind of go, people have passion for coffee, I'm going to give, and the pub's quiet, so I'm going to go do something, or did you just love coffee and you had a passion for it?
Loved coffee. Started taking it for performance and sport originally.
The old caffeine.
Yeah, the caffeine hit, and that's probably 09 or 10. The nutritionist in me at the time said, boys, let's get a coffee in there 40 minutes before training.
All right.
So
Used to be Jaffa cakes.
Jaffa cake maybe at half time. Yeah. Sweet is probably a bit better, or a gel now, but so, and like I said, if someone told me to do whatever or eat whatever, I'll do it to the letter of the law. So yeah, I kind of started liking this caffeine stuff, and then that's how it all took off. Yeah, went with the coffee, and always had a keen interest in it. So
And did you have to did you travel the country looking for the best coffee, or did you know a guy that was in operation already, or did you kind of go, I'll go down to Galway now, I'll try this coffee, or what? How would you research best coffee? Because there's a lot of competition when you set up. As in,
There's a lot of people say that they have the best coffee.
yeah, because it's a saturated market, as in horse boxes and stuff like that. It was tough to, but you obviously did really well. So obviously you did something that was.
Yeah, well, on my days off, or if I'm I'm not teetotal. I am a drinker, but I would go out of my way for a coffee, on kind of a day that I'm off or whatever. I'd travel, I travel 10 or 15 or miles, you know what I mean, to go to a nice spot, have a nice breakfast, have a coffee. So I whittled it down to probably 3 or 4 beans, John, and I ended up going with a chap from Ranelagh, Nick's Coffee, with an N, and I really liked the coffee, and said that's who I go with and stick with, and approached him, and he was very, very helpful, in setting up, and that's where I get my beans from.
And then you went and done courses, obviously, in it as well.
I went to a lot of people.
It's not like you have the machine, and the machine, you just press a button and
yeah,
pops.
People think that, don't they?
Yeah.
And a lot of people did that, and I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie straight in bed doing that now.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
I really wouldn't.
That would be just kind of, if you'd done that, it would just be very standard or very bland coffee anyway.
It would be. And how would you be comfortable putting out a product and you haven't? You know, you don't know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So, for the first year, I worked very hard at myself. I was kind of there all day, every day. Wanted to get that consistency, and then trained up a couple of girls, and they've taken the pressure off me. But went to Dublin Barista School and did 7 days or 10 days up there, I think. And like I was saying to Scotty, God, it's mind-boggling coffee. There's so much to learn about. I thought I knew a bit about it, but
the weights and weight is the one thing I learned was absolutely amazing was you have to get your weights right, and then when you do something to it, then the weight is different. I think it was grinding. When you grind it, the weight is different or something. It's mad.
I've actually got a grinder. I got a brand new machine and a grinder there about 3 weeks ago, and it gives you the exact weight of the coffee now when you put it in. It grinds it to 18.1 grams. So
consistency that way,
consistency all the time. It's fascinating. Really, probably bores some people, but
And you need a top machine then as well, of course.
Yeah, you do.
Scotty's always saying that about gear as well. To buy good stuff
buy good stuff once.
Yeah,
don't buy shite loads of times.
Absolutely.
Is that a reflection in your mindset though? As in you're in sport, you're always right. Consistency's key, and I got to be the best at this. Now you're bringing that to your businesses and saying consistency and do every day has to be top notch.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. Yeah, that I would. I'm an easygoing guy in many ways, but like we're saying, I like to do some. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it right. Do you know what I mean? And of course, you're going to have days when, like you're playing, you mightn't just get your milk right, or might be a little bit off, but you don't want that to be happening too often, because when it comes to food and drink, people will only give you a couple of chances.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the footfall like in Longwood? Was it something that you had to advertise heavily, or was it just like it just took off straight away?
No, I from what I remember, it's coming up to about 2 years open now, actually. I think so. I had a soft opening one of the days, and people came, and then a bit of word spread. I suppose Longwood has grown dramatically since I was a young fella, hugely, since probably about 2000. Scotty, like there's five new estates in the village.
All right.
Like we're only an hour away from O'Connell Street as the crow flies in town. So that's how Longwood became really, really popular. That you're, I suppose, in the country, but you're so close to Dublin.
Yeah, yeah.
Two big schools. Like the secondary school, I would think has taken a lot away from Boyne. Like a lot of them are going to Longwood now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the population has grown hugely in the village. So it's helped me in the pub and the coffee shop. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it wasn't necessarily a case of I just want to kind of grab the attention of Longwood. It was more I want to make a name as like a really good coffee place, so that people travel from even outside of Longwood to come and have my coffee. That was kind of the idea. It wasn't to go local.
Yeah, I would think so. I really wanted to start off small to get it right. Like people would always say, will you open up? Can we come in and sit down? Or why don't you do food? Why don't you do sandwiches? Why are you not doing? And I'm like, lads, relax. Like, we wanted to start off small and do it properly.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people bite off too much.
Yeah.
And get your, it's like building blocks. It's like a house, get your groundwork done first, then you build your walls, then you build your roof, so that's what I want to do. And now I'm looking down the line, maybe doing other things, maybe doing a few nice sandwiches, or doing maybe a nice sit down area in the summer, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But and the Greenway has been great, so it's a nice walkway there, the Royal Canal, so all these little things helped.
Yeah, yeah. So you're planning to take over more of your mother's house and turn it into
Does
a
she
coffee
know this
shop?
now? Or?
Yeah. Well, the pub game's changing, boys. So, people aren't drinking as much, and it's easier to get drink, and you can get them in off licenses, and again.
Sure, Longwood doesn't need a big hip cocktail bar now, no?
You're going to teach me a few.
No problem at all. Yeah.
No
Like
bother.
a proper jazz bar. Yeah. You never know. Might do well.
There's a building beside you for sale, isn't there?
Yeah, open mind. You have to keep an open mind, lads.
Yeah, we'll meet up.
Who
We'll
knows?
We'll have a chat. Yeah.
Longwood will always have Stonies, though, won't it? Like, I mean, that is Longwood to me. When I think of Longwood, I think Stonies.
Stonies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gas.
It is. But sure, you have to. Yeah, it is like Stonies is
Longwood.
Yeah.
I just that's automatically what comes
I was
into
out in
my
Longwood
head.
last night. You're in the Stonies. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a bit like that book. This boy out in Galway with his father, and his father was a farmer, and he hated working with his dad and hated farming, and he says, look, they were out fighting all the time, and he fecked off to America for years, and over time the lure of the land, they started calling him back, and it reminds me a lot of the pub when I was young. Like I was very, very uncomfortable in the bar.
Yeah.
Dad would ask me to work and pick up glasses, and jeez, I hate it. Like,
It's like you've been forced to do it.
I was
at
very
that stage.
shy, like I was really, and you put your hand into someone's glasses, and next thing they grab it and they'd say, "No, I'm not finished with that." Do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, "Oh, gee." I wasn't comfortable at all, but over time, you get a little bit more confident, and I would hate to see it. I would never, sell it or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's my family pub, and it's my father. So again, you're almost lured back into it. But it's. I suppose it is I'm very proud that people think like that in a way.
It's an institution, really, isn't it?
Did your dad buy that, or is that like older than your dad as well? That it's been in the family for like generations, or did he see, like, was he a farmer? Because he was always from Longwood, wasn't he?
No. My mother was actually always from Longwood, and my father came to Longwood when he was 21. That pub went up for sale in 1963. There was 13 in my father's family, and that pub went up for sale, and my grandfather, who I didn't know at the time, sold land just outside Kilcock to buy that place, with, I suppose, the vision of me father going into it and running it, and maybe the brothers and the sisters getting a bit of work, and it was a grocery and a pub.
All right.
So he was kind of, I suppose it was kind of, again, business-like in thinking that it'll provide, instead of a load of land,
Yeah.
not of use to 13 kids.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And Dad's sisters married guys around the village, and I've cousins around the village. But yeah, Dad came. He was one of the youngest publicans in Ireland at the time. It's gas when you think about it, like, So he's been there since 63 or 64.
And what was it called? Did he call the Stonies then after himself?
It was Mick Murphy's. Mick Murphy. Mick Murphy, and he only got the nickname Stoney when he came to Longwood, because there was a western called Stony Burke at the time.
No way.
So that's how the name Stoney stuck. Yeah.
That's mad.
Didn't know that.
And was it always the plan that, say, you were going to come in and take over the business and run the pub from young? Like, did you know, like, this is where I'm going to end up now?
No, I don't think so. Like, that's what I'm saying. I was, like I said, I didn't drink until I was nearly 20. I was 19 when I drank into McCormick's. So I wasn't like
Sure, you weren't 15, no, like the rest of us.
No, hang on, not like everybody.
Oh no, yeah, you're still a teetotaler, yeah.
Yeah. So I was late to the old drinking game. But no, like, I didn't have any passion for that. Like I said, I was very, very. I was shy. I was uncomfortable in the bar setting, and it took time to come around to it. And it's a tough gig in ways. Like it still is. Like, late nights and people dealing with people with alcohol, and when people can hold it and have fun with it, it's great. But there's nothing more frustrating, I suppose, than a bowsy, you know what I mean?
And did your parents leave you off, like, and you came back to it, or did that, like, were they saying it to you and then eventually convinced you, like, or what you say about that pull, that just eventually, like, pulled you back into it, like?
I think so. I suppose it was a natural progression, and they were getting a bit older. Like I said, Mum and Dad were, in their 70s, and it wasn't fair in them type of thing. And so they bought a house down the road. I stayed living upstairs above it, which I still do now. And you're kind of, I suppose, trust into the job, and that's I suppose natural progression. Yeah.
It's his hat I always remember from going playing Longwood, and he
cowboy hat. Yeah.
Be umpire and always knock around the pitch when you'd be going over playing underage, and even I think it's been a long time now since we played Longwood, because obviously yous were going up and we were going down in the football. But I think even the last league game, I was over there. I think it was like a Tuesday night, Frost night. He was still there, like. Yeah,
he just loves it. He's bloody as hard as that now. So which is great, thank God.
My outlet says he was the kind of footballer that every time you hit him, he just seemed to get harder and harder to hold him. That's what my outlet said. Anyway.
So they say, like, the amount of times I've met the boys in the street and they've just shouted over, "There's that lad, Stony Burke. Jesus Christ, he broke me up 50 years ago." So look, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And did your dad play for Meath at all?
He did. Yeah, he did. He's actually the only man to play under 18 and senior on the same day, which hasn't been done since. Yeah,
no way.
It was just a freak. He was a goalie, actually.
Right.
So he was the under 18 goalie at the time, and the senior goalie got sick, and the minors played before the seniors on Championship Day. So he had to tug out then for the seniors, and it's never been done since. Yeah, it does be asked the odd time on LMFM, actually. So
on the questions, like,
yeah. Who's the only Meath man to ever play minor and senior championship football on the one day?
That's amazing.
Yeah, Stony Burke.
That's lovely.
Hope that's not in the waffle hour quiz, Bertie.
No, it's not. No.
Jesus, that's a great legacy to have. And did he play football for long? Did he have a long career with Meath?
No, not really. He just played for a couple of years, I think.
Right.
Yeah, no, he had a long club career. He played for years then for the club or whatever. But yeah, he played a wee bit. He just loves sport. Like, he'd be up again. Like I said, he loves all sports: Formula 1, rugby, soccer, golf. He'd be watching Everton on the telly. Even at he's coming 83 now. So yeah, he's a great bit of stuff. So
fine age.
Yeah, you were just on. You never crossed paths to play in a charity game together, right? Did you just?
We played. God, it's not allowed now. I played, I think it was a hurling game with him. Yeah, one game, under 14. He was about 60 in goals. They had to tug him out thinking the wellies or something. Yeah.
And does he still do work in the bar at all?
No.
Nothing. No.
No. He comes up for a few swills there on a Thursday and on a Saturday, and he loves his old cards and going around chatting to lads. And no, he actually was probably a farmer, really.
Right. Okay.
He didn't have a passion for. Funny enough, my mother probably kept the whole show going. Now that I think back on it,
Right.
Dad had come in, swan in, and hold the room, hold court with the boys, have a chat, have a drink, and have the crack, like, you know.
Yeah.
But Mum probably kept the whole thing going, really.
Yeah. And was it hard for them to step away from that and kind of let you come in, or was that kind of they're like, yeah, it's yours now, we're gone?
I'd say Dad was bait away there, and Mum was like, you'd have to tie Ma down to not let her up to the pub. Like, it'd kill her. She loves it. Like,
right. Okay.
Loves it. Loves going up, walking behind the counter, just wiping something, or do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, Ma, will you just go home and relax? Like, but that's what mothers are about, aren't they?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
She's still there for like the emergency. Someone doesn't rock up for work or staff shortage or anything.
Oh, the hand to go up. I'll do that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Jeez, that's good to have sometimes. In fairness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's great. And then do you see at the moment you're playing Meath senior hurling?
I'm still involved with the hurlers, Scotty. Yeah.
Is there? Do you feel the body getting sore? Is there any plans in the future to kind of pull back a little bit, or is it all guns blazing and keep going?
Yeah. Look, I know I'm realist to know that my time is coming very shortly now. I'm at the end of my career at Intercounty, but look, I was asked back in this year and I was wanted in. So once I was asked in, I said I'll keep going. Body's in decent nick. I have to strap a few things up. Don't get me wrong, my ankles and a couple of thumbs and stuff like that. But if I have to do that for trainings and games, I'll be happy enough. But look, time waits for no man, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's gonna happen eventually. But look, these boys like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and these boys give me great inspiration. So
yeah,
I'll keep minding the body and looking after myself as best I can.
Buffon went on until what? Is he still going?
Buffon's still going. He's back with Parma, isn't he?
Think so.
And he's what, 40s, mid 40s?
He's is he playing with like the son of the manager that gave him his debut or something?
That's crazy.
There's something like that anyway. I think I read it there.
Unbelievable.
It's possible.
Do you still do those makeshift workouts out the back with the kegs and the made up?
It was very much a workout still. It wasn't a makeshift workout.
The
you
gym
got a
was
full
makeshift,
workout in there.
but the workout was right.
He invented a bit of a gym workout stuff.
Home gym.
Yeah, look, kind
or
of.
Was that a bit of crack?
It was a bit of crack. Yeah, it was a bit of crack. But you know, again, what do you do if you have no weights? Do something primal.
But again, that kind of built it into the Mickey Burke brand, didn't it? Like that kind of.
Yeah, like I didn't actively go looking for like a Mickey Burke brand.
You did have a little brand though. Like you have a big following on Instagram. You've
the Honey Badger.
I suppose I do. Yeah, like the Honey Badger. Yeah, that came around. I'd like to think it grew naturally. Like, you know, I wasn't obsessed about I need to have so many followers, or I need to get a blue tick, or I need to be Mickey Burke, the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger kind of came because I'm small enough in stature. I'm not the tallest, but I'll fight for anything, and I'm dogged. Like I'll keep going, and that's like the same as the Honey Badger, and that's how that kind of kicked off. You know,
I know the
Honey Badgers fight and eat spiders and stuff like that. You know,
they always liked you in the stand anyway.
Did they?
Games, oh yeah.
Oh, jeez, I don't know, lad. I'm sure I got plenty
anyone. We always got excited, and I know even the nephew's 29 now, but when we were bringing him, he enjoyed when you were playing and things like that, because I think you were just there at the time where you end up missing like Garrity and Murphy, and then there just wasn't anybody, and I think you kind of slightly took over with the excitement and people wanting to go play with you, and like I think that kind of built into your brand then, because you kind of took over that mantle of people getting excited when they see you warm up if you weren't starting or when you were playing, and because of the way you played as well, where I think you always took the game by the scruff of the neck, like, and there was times, and that's the Meath spirit then as well in games, that I think that's what the crowd really liked about you then as well.
Yeah, I think commentators always kind of mentioned you differently than other players as well.
Because obviously you were never in the stand when you're playing. Like.
Yeah, look, geez, like they're lovely things to hear. Like I hope so. I certainly was not the best player ever, but like I said, I would like to think that I had a good spirit and a good honesty about myself, and I'd go for Everton and I'd give it my best shot no matter. And that's all I say to kids as well. If anyone asks me, what's the secret, or there is no secret. You do your best every time you go out, and you've good days and you've bad days, and you've if it's cold or wet or windy, you can still run and tackle and try really, really try hard, and that's all I try to do, really. So, basic stuff, not rocket science.
Yeah, you kind of stood out. I think I remember seeing you a few years ago, and you had mad long hair. And you had the white boots, and you just looked like a fucking wild man. I think that was part of the brand as well. Maybe it wasn't a conscious thing, but do you think it helped that you stood out a little bit as well when you were on the pitch?
Maybe, yeah. Look, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, don't we? I was probably pretty durable and naturally strong, and maybe the long hair brought a bit of a caveman thing to it. Again, you can believe me if you want. Honestly, I never went out and said, look, I'm going to be the caveman. It just kind of naturally evolved. I said, I'm going to let my hair grow long for a while here, let the beard grow, and then you look at it one day and you go, no, I'm going to shave it again. So but maybe just having that natural strength from the farm and sheep and pulling kegs around, and
well, I think that was it. That's what we all thought, like, you're just a mullah.
It's kind of uncomfortable talking about yourself, but so that's how it kind of kicked off, I suppose.
It's that time, you know the name. It's the reason we all came. Find the words that are the same. It's that time to play the waffle game.
Having loads of fun. Okay, what am I doing? 30 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay.
I wasn't great in school now, boys. This might be
30 seconds, guess 5 things, isn't it?
Okay.
So it's just whatever 5 things, just keep firing whatever comes into your head.
Okay.
Words, things, places, whatever.
Trust me, it's harder than you think.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Berkey, in 30 seconds, can you name 5 English rugby league teams?
Leeds Rhinos, Wigan Warriors, Hull KR, Hull FC, St Helens, Warrington, bloody hell, that's terrible after them. Hull KR, Sheffield Eagles, London Broncos,
3, 2,
Hull KR, Catalan Dragons, but they're France.
That's it.
I think that one was said.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It
Jenny.
got a fair amount to be fair.
I'm gonna have to ask you, right, because I think you might have said the last one as well, but you didn't give the full name, but we want to give it, but I'm not sure if you did, right? So you said Warrington Wolves, Huddersfield Giants, Leeds Rhinos, and St Helens Saints, and then I think you said the Tigers, but I have Castleford Tigers.
No, Castleford Tigers, right? I didn't say them. No.
Okay, so you got 4.
Jesus, that's fairly good.
4 out of 5.
Wow.
That's terrible, boys. I'm a massive rugby league fan. I had an absolute blank there.
Nobody's ever gotten 5. So don't worry.
Got 5.
And that was such a...
I didn't even get good questions right on gin.
You go absolutely blank.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
What the hell?
Sadistic little game, that one.
Yeah, when you're under pressure, you see.
Right, Bert, do you want to do your... do you have a shell bomb?
I do have something here now, yeah.
I got one as well, actually.
Okay, so we're all fond of the owl naps. So this is something to do with naps, okay? So you probably know that snails are pretty slow creatures, but did you know that they also take the longest naps? One nap can last up to 3 years.
That's fucking mad. Did I give you the koala fact last week?
What about
koalas? Well, maybe that was in the car.
No, that was not. That was the podcast. Or no, that was the comedy thing. Me and John went out together on Saturday night.
We had a great night on Saturday.
It was class.
Yeah. I was
friends.
invited this time, but I didn't go.
All right,
because I didn't know I was officially invited. I thought I was the sub waiting for some other lad not to go.
No, you
and then I made other plans.
No, it's a pity.
You told me that during the week.
It was great. It's probably the best night of my life. Okay, so did you know that it's totally legal to escape from prison in some countries? So several countries, including Mexico, Germany and Austria, see the desire to escape from prison as a basic human nature rather than an unlawful act. So consequently, a prison break isn't considered a crime itself. But before you start thinking about that, it's okay to do it. they will go and hunt you down. But they won't give you any criminal charges for trying to escape from prison. Apparently in Mexico, Germany, and Austria.
Yeah, I don't think they'll just chase you down and bring you back. I think.
Oh, they'll beat the lard out of you.
Beat shit out of you.
But it's not a crime apparently to try and escape from prison, which it is in other countries.
Oh.
So you'll get another one for trying to get out.
Oh.
What about you, John Boy?
I've none, but I have a story about Robbie Kennedy.
For fuck's sake.
You won't believe it. Have you know Robbie Kennedy's a legend?
Yep.
Of course you do.
Yeah, everyone knows him.
Well, Robbie does these wild things whenever we're out and about. And we went sea swimming there on Sunday. And he met a fish. And he said, "All right, I'll give you a hold your breath contest." And he won against the fish. He's just an absolute legend. Whatever he can do, he's some man.
Just a quick story about Robbie Kennedy in school, right?
A real one.
Yes.
No, it's true. First year in school, Robbie was like a fully grown man. Like he had muscles upon muscles.
Yeah.
And I just remember Paddy McDade. And he went over to Paddy McDade. Paddy McDade offered, like he said, Robbie, lift me up.
He's a big lad as well.
He just grabbed him like that. And Paddy was like reasonable, and Robbie just picked him up like that by the scruff of the neck and dropped him down, like in first year.
Yeah.
It was an amazing. I always remember that feat of strength at the time. Like, I went over to Paddy McDade and tried to grab him with two arms at full effort and couldn't budge him like off the ground. Robbie just grabbed him like that and picked him up. I always remember that. Yeah, Robbie's
mad,
serious strength.
Robbie Kennedy had farmer strength without ever stepping foot in a farm in his life.
Yeah.
He was just